Namaskar and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a lovely evening yesterday. And we will now begin day 2 of the meeting, ADFIAP meeting. As you know that today's function is divided into 5 plenary sessions throughout the course of the day. We will have many eminent speakers who will be speaking from their expertise of their domain area. This, while sharing their insights, will help us towards our growth of inclusive and sustainable development. We will close the day of the event with a cultural evening, and this will give you a taste of the rich and vibrant Indian culture. May I request you to all settle down so that we can start the proceedings of today. May I also humbly request everybody to kindly switch off their mobile phones or put it on the silent mode during the entire course of today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to begin the first session. The importance of agriculture and rural development in a nation's economy can never be overstated. Highlighting the role of finance in this sector is the topic of the day's first plenary session. I would like to now, without any further ado, take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome and invite on stage our session moderator, Mr. Isidro A. Sobrecare, President of the New Rural Bank of Agansilo, to please join us. May I request you to join me in extending a very warm and hearty welcome to him. May I now request our esteemed speakers of this plenary session to please join us. Mr. R. Amalur Pavanathan, Deputy Managing Director of the National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. From India, Mr. Puan Masad Binti Awads, Acting President, CEO and Chief Financial Officer of Agro Bank, Malaysia. Ms. Anna Mendiola, President and Chief Executive Officer, FSM Development Bank from the Federated States of Micronesia. Once again, an extremely warm welcome to our eminent panel here. Without any further ado, if I may request session moderator to kindly make his opening remarks and moderate the session.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to this first session of the ADFIAP event, Agriculture and Rural Development. If I can find my notes, hold on. Yeah. No. In the context of overall economic development, agriculture and rural development are juxtaposed or always taken together. In Asia, for instance, agriculture plays a clearly dominant role in economic development, considering the fact that majority of the population reside in rural areas and majority of the resources are located in rural areas. There are, however, 5 interesting trends that many research papers have pointed out about the development of agriculture in relation to rural development in Asia. The share of agriculture's output is decreasing faster than that of employment. Today, agriculture is the largest employer in developing Asia, but not the largest sector in any Asian country by GDP. A second trend is that agricultural labor productivity in Asia has grown faster than in other developing regions. The third is that land productivity in Asia has grown again much faster than in other developing regions. The fourth factor, technological change in agriculture since the 1960s led to significant improvements in yields of traditional crops. And fifth, the composition of agricultural output of developing Asia has shifted from traditional to high-value products. Today, we are fortunate to have with us top executives of development financial institutions in Asia, who will share with us their experience in this area, as well as their aspirations towards rural development, with the hope, I hope, that inputs from you as part of this ADFIAP platform can contribute to the aspirations of the presentation. I will now make a quick introduction of our panelists in the order of their presentation. We have Mr. R. Amalor Pavanathan. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. He is the Deputy Managing Director, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development in India. We have Puan Masat Benti Awaj. She is the President and Chief Executive Officer, FSM, Development Bank. She is covering President, CEO, and Chief Financial Officer, Agrobank Malaysia. I hope I did not migrate you to Micronesia. Third is Ms. Ana Mindiola, President and Chief Executive Officer, FSM Development Bank, Federated States of Micronesia. The format will be their presentation, followed by some discussion. You know, among the Catholics who are here with us, you probably must have heard the latest circular from Vatican issued by Pope Francis. He told the priests, the Catholic priests, limit your sermon to 10 minutes. He thinks that's the most effective time frame for a sermon. Now, if 10 minutes works for matters of doctrinal and spiritual values, I guess it will also work 10 minutes for developmental and even temporal matters. And hopefully, we will have some participation from the audience. I will do a recap, and we will conclude our session. On that note, may I now call on Mr. Amator Pavanathan to make his presentation.
Good morning, everyone. I'll straight away, because there is no much time left, I'll straight away go to the presentation and then related to the current topic, because NABARD, I have been talking to almost similar audience again and again about NABARD. But what is the relevance to the theme of this year's gathering here? The sustainability is a very important thing. Why we are talking about sustainability of agriculture? The agriculture comprises basically the soil, water, and the rainwater and soil. So the soil has got a lot of microorganisms. By applying chemicals, fertilizers, etc., we are killing these organisms. Once you kill the organism, this soil becomes just a sand without life. The soil has to have life, and that is how it can be sustainable. So this is very important. Now India, we are moving fast towards organic farming. A lot of incentive schemes are announced and a lot of governments are supporting for the organic farming. So we use the living organisms to cultivate our crops so that we are able to sustain the health of the soil. And there are several schemes like soil health cards and the organic fertilizer manufacturing, etc. A lot of things are being done. But sustainability also we look into three different perspectives from the DFI point of view. One is the social sustainability. These are all the parameters on which we judge NABARD as an entity in the DFI. Why do we qualify to be a DFI? The social sustainability comes from mobilizing the people, organizing the people for taking decisions of their own. And it is also evaluated by the people themselves, and then it should be a credible evaluation so that we get the lessons learned and then move forward. The financial sustainability is also equally important, because once you don't have a proper financial strength, then you are looked down by the other people who are financing this as if that is something, it's a dole kind of a thing. So we are not, the agriculture and rural development, even if they are poor, they are not looking for doles, but they are looking for economic and financial assistance in the market terms. So we have to treat them with the dignity at par with the market like any other industry. So therefore the financial stability and sustainability is more important for us. Third, as I told you, environmental sustainability is very important to sustain the agriculture for the newer generations and next generations. So therefore, the sustainability is the core of NABARD's functions. I'll leave you a little more detail about this. So we have one of the USP of NABARD is that we are very good in working with communities. The Farmers Club. Farmers Club is oriented towards the technology upgradation at the farmland. It is a voluntary group of people, 4 to 5 people or 5 to 10 people maximum. They come together to propagate the new technology among the farmers. There is no dole for them. It's a voluntary group. And they also teach the other farmers about how to develop through credit. We have 152,000 farmers clubs in our country, all funded or mobilized by NABARD. We have the self-help groups. I think the microfinance community knows what is the self-help group is all about. It is about microfinance. And uniqueness in this is thrift groups linked to the formal credit system. The last two words are very key for our NABARD's USP. It is not informal credit. SAGs are also financed by informal credit, but we do it through the formal credit. And we have 8.57 million SAGs in the country. We are in the process of digitizing every one of them. All these institutions are being digitized so that people know who is where and what they are doing. And the account keeping, everything is becoming transparent based on the mobile applications. The next one is a joint liability groups, which is not a farm owners of the land, but they are tillers. Basically, they are tillers, landless people, and they offer social collateral. It's a group collateral to borrowing. They take higher loans, and then they carry on their activity. We have 2.5 million joint liability groups, all funded and promoted by NABARD. Then user groups. Wherever we are creating natural resources like watershed or the micro irrigation structures, we club all the users into a group, formally registered them, so that they take care of this social asset in a sustainable manner. So the user groups is a shared responsibility of maintaining the assets created, which is in the social assets, and we have 57,000 user groups formed. Then next is the watershed development committees. This is a responsible natural resource management committee. This it is also a user group, but it is basic focus is on responsible natural resource management. They need to continuously sustain this natural resource once developed by NABARD, and then therefore we form them into formal organizations. There are 1,935 these kind of watershed groups that is existing in now. Then next is tribal groups. The tribals cultivation practices were different. In order to provide them a sustainable employment opportunity at a given place in their own way, we have developed tribal development projects. And this is again natural resource management, mostly inhabited by the tribal areas. We have 673 projects. roughly around 1,000 beneficiaries per project. That is about 673,000 tribals are being covered under this project. Then we have the latest entry, that is the farmer producer organization. We go by the value chain of the agriculture. Unless the entire value chain is within the control of the farmers, they would not be able to derive the price advantage in the market. So therefore it is necessary for them to come together, form a corporate kind of a farming practices. It operates on the cooperative principles, but it is a company, registered company under the Companies Act, and they have to comply with all company standards, audits, everything. So far we have developed, this has been started 2 years ago. So far we have, NABARD has formally organized 2039 farmers producer organization. Apart from that, almost 3,000 groups are already formulated by many other DFIs in India. Totally about 5,000-6,000 groups are there. And the hallmark or the USP, another USP of NABARD is working through the community organizations. We have 782 producer organization promoting institutions. Actually, they are all our partners in this. These are all NGOs and voluntary agencies, 782 throughout the country. 37 corporates through their CSR projects, they participate along with NABARD to join hands to upscale some of the development initiatives, especially on health, housing, and other areas where NABARD is not into. And we have 140 farmers club federations. Once these small groups, as I told you, 10 or 15 people are there, they are federated into a company, this is called farmer producer organizations, and they are comprising a farmers club. They are the one who take the farmers right from purchase of inputs right up to the market. We are in the process of empowering them more and more. You must have seen every budget, this budget also, government has allocated money for strengthening them. Each provincial government, the state governments have come out with their own schemes to strengthen the farmers' collectives. And typically there is a cycle we find that in all our the promotional endeavors. First is the awareness building. Awareness building is very, very important for the development perspective. This takes a lot of time. But once the awareness is developed and then we organize them into formal groups, then after forming, we are having the participatory rural appraisals. What is their problem? What is their suggested solutions? We weave around their solutions, their problems, and then give a kind of a product shape to NABARD products. That's why it's quite variant. Every state, every province, if you go, the same project will be implemented in a different manner because they are able to imbibe the local characteristics of the project. Then through that we develop models, then we become an advocacy role. Once we develop models, then we present to the government, look here, this is the way we can go forward. Can you support it? Because one agency like even though NABARD is big, we cannot be able to develop the entire nation. We need the government hands to upscale. So therefore, after the development of the model, we go to the government and present to them, this is what the development process is all about. This is what going to be costing us. So budgetary support and the government machinery is roped in to upscale the operations. So the sustainability, also as I told you, all the dimensions of sustainability is covered. More challenge is coming in the form of capacity building, training, technology, and the event supports. Event support is like marketing skills, marketing trials, etc. That is to be done. The bottom line which we are saying, capacity building, technology, and the event support is coming in the form of grants from NABARD. Rest of the things are on market terms. So we are not into dole out. We are not into completely saying that it should be on market terms. It's a combination of both. It's a blended products that we are offering. So very quickly, I'll skip this. So with this, you can see the growth that we are able to achieve. Now it's it is in crores. 1 crore is 100 million rupees. We can take it that way. So it is about 52-53 billion dollars terms we are at now, our asset size. If you see, NABARD cannot be financially weak. We are borrowing in the market, national and international markets. We are seen as an investment opportunity by the investors. They are not looking at as a development. Nobody gives money because now NABARD is a good development institution, except some corporates under CSR and the government. Otherwise, we are depending on the market. We are the third biggest borrower in Indian market, in the bond market. borrow right up to 15 years bonds and from 1 year to 15 years. The capital accordingly we plow back. Our margin is very thin. We are not into profit. I mean, it's profit motive, but nevertheless we need to have a strength and we should make sufficient profit. And you can see this growth in our own funds, which is our capital and reserves. And you can see the capital also is supported by the government. Every time government wants NABARD to do, because there is a regulatory requirement, we should maintain at least 12% as the capital adequacy norms. So 12% of whatever this thing, the program that government wants us to do, at least 8 to 10% we ask from the government, balance is plowed back from our profits. So we say collaboration project for NABARD and the government. So we are able to upscale quickly, reach out to many people. And this is the USP of NABARD, and then I am not going to the details of the other the issues. The climate is one thing that is latest, and we are very seriously getting involved in the climate financing. And we are the accredited entity by the climate, the Adaptation Fund Board, GCF. There is a national climate fund that is also accredited NABARD as the lead agency in India. So in India, climate financing is led by NABARD into all sectors, including energy sectors and the adaptation. We need more adaptation because India has a big coastal line, and then also the climate variants are huge across the country. So you see when there is a snowfall and avalanche and all those things happening in Kashmir, you can see the flood in some other part, you can see the drought in some other part. So it's always, fraught with many natural calamities, and the vulnerable groups are affected too much. So we are into kind of an adaptation projects for the rural communities, especially the coastal and rural communities. I finish here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my Lord. You'll make a good Catholic priest. Our next presenter, and I will introduce her again because I got it wrong the first time. Puan Masant Benti Awadj is the covering President, CEO, and Chief Financial Officer of Agrobank Malaysia.
I just tap this one. Okay. Very good morning to our honorable moderator, Mr. Isidro, our speakers, two other speakers, and our fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin my session today, I would like to share, in Malaysia, agriculture was previously for farmers. But nowadays, things has changed, where agriculture is considered as new wealth. So corporates has gone into it, and there are a lot of demand for agriculture. In fact, we are trying to make more arrangement with other countries such as India and also China. We will leverage on the current logistic. Okay, moving on with my session today, topic given is Agrobank's role in promoting inclusive and sustainable development, agriculture and rural development. First, I would like to share with all the delegates on our journey. Agrobank was established as Agriculture Bank of Malaysia in 1969, and it was wholly owned by government. All funds are provided by government. That was in 1969. But in 2008, we become corporatized. We are under Ministry of Finance. We are wholly owned by Ministry of Finance, where only 14% of our portfolio are provided by government. 14% of our fund are provided by government, whereas the 86% are depositors' fund. So we are allowed to get deposits from customers. So these deposits are utilized for borrowings. And on 1st July 2015, we become full-fledged Islamic banking, where all the conventional accounts for financing as well as deposits were converted into Islamic accounts, and it took a long journey to do that. So those that we cannot convert it until now is considered as charity, which is a challenge to us. But Alhamdulillah, we have managed to do that. And by now, everything are fully converted to Islamic. Just to share our vision. Vision is to be a leading bank with focus on agriculture. Since we are the only agriculture bank in Malaysia, so we monopolize most of the agriculture development. And of course, our mission is to provide full range of financial services in market and client-driven. So our target market are agriculture-related sectors. Agriculture-related. It's not only agriculture, but agriculture-related. Anything to do with agriculture, including financing, golf course, is part of our financing. So it's quite wide, so we don't have any problem at all to get business. So in fact, we are competing with commercial bank, and we are sharing the same cake. That is our challenge. But moving forward, the government has given priority to agriculture, so we get full support from government. And our target, besides agropreneurs, we also cover micro, small, medium enterprises, and also private and individual. We are allowed to finance individual consumer, which is fall under personal financing. In terms of outreach, our branches, we have 184 branches all over Malaysia, and 71% are located at rural areas. So definitely we serve the rural areas more than the urban areas. And on top of that, we have 251 machines, ATM machines, and 130 CDM machines. And to support agriculture at rural areas, if we were to come up with branches, definitely it will be very costly. So what we do, we appoint agents, agro agents, or we call it agent banking. So these people will act on our behalf, and they act as our extension arm. So these are structured agents, where we call them, we get through Farmers Association, and then all other organizations under Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Industry and Commodity. So that's how we outreach the rural areas. Without forgetting corporates, we still entertain corporates. So we finance corporates and commercial. In fact, I have my corporate team with me here to get some more business from all the delegates here. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all the delegates, especially our moderator, to come to Malaysia, and we will make arrangement for project visit. Yeah, I think we take this opportunity. Everybody are most welcome. Okay, back to AgroBank at glance. Overarching principles in creating values for marginalized community. Our principles are to enrich social well-being, where we want them to have a better social life. We are assigned by government to handle mandated role and to uplift their well-being. So we're supposed to monitor them from micro to small and further upgraded to middle and also large. We monitor every stage. So once they are more bankable, we will transfer them to commercial bank, such as Maybank and other commercial banks. Second principle is a greater client outreach, where we have a strategic collaboration with all agencies under all ministries. So we form a strategic collaboration and we work as a team. No one is allowed to work in silos. So everybody work together towards the same objective for rural development. And thirdly, our principles is to drive economic growth, where we provide financial resources for the underserved and also unserved community to ensure they have better opportunities to and also improve their well-being. I'm given 10 minutes. I have to be hurry. Okay. Another things that I would like to share here, our scope of financing covers not only upstream activities, which are merely primary production, but we also cover downstream, which comprise of marketing, logistic, processing, manufacturing, and we also provide trade finance. So on top of that, we also provide home financing and together with appliances. So these are the benefit gained by rural communities. And here, for today, I would like to share what we do for our paddy project scheme. So for paddy is our staple food. So paddy farming is the oldest agriculture business in Malaysia. So our focus is to increase food sustainability. So we have to enhance our product. So we continuously enhance our product to ensure Malaysian has sufficient food. So the desired outcome of the project is for paddy farmers, normally who has low credit rating, will become more bankable and more structured. Under the old model, we call it direct financing model or free flow model. The customers or the farmers will come directly to our bank and will apply financing. And we will disburse directly to their accounts without anybody monitoring. And at the end of the day, normally after 4 months or 6 months, once they get their yield, they will come to the bank. If they come, if they don't come, we will have problem. So that was what happened before. So our solution now is to create strategic alliance where we leverage on other organizations such as Farmers Association. The main thing is Farmers Association. So we leverage all this opportunity. What we do and how we do it, how it works. We come up with guaranteed purchase agreement whereby farmers must sell to the strategic alliance. So payment will come from our strategic alliance. So these farmers, they have to sign a guaranteed purchase agreement, and the price is always controlled by us and also by government. There is no manipulation involved. And this association acts as our intermediary. So from here, the farmers has sustainable income and guaranteed enough paddy supply and also safeguard the customer's repayment to the bank. And the customers are fully insured. In case of death, the financing will be fully paid by insurance company. So that is very, very secure. And it is more structured whereby the repayment is guaranteed. And we can improve the life of the farmers and the well-being. We don't require any collateral. We don't require any cross-guarantee. They are free. They can take any amount of financing, but without collateral, since the marketing is secured and the payment source is from the strategic alliance. How it works, we have two models. One is Farmers Association act as intermediary. The farmers will sell the product to Farmers Association, and then Farmers Association will sell to another anchor company. Anchor company will pay direct to Farmers Association, and Farmers Association will pay to the bank on behalf of the farmers. So it's very, very easy for the farmers. What they supposed to do is just plant the paddy field. Second model is we engage directly with anchor company. Anchor company will purchase directly from farmers with standard price, and we control the ceiling price as well as the floor price. So anchor company will pay direct to the bank. So there are two models involved. Since this is very effective, we have extended this scheme to other products such as chili and also pepper. We collaborate with Malaysian Pepper Board, where we finance 30,000 pepper planters. Chile has started, and it has spread over Malaysia. So it's a good opportunity for us to share here. So talking about challenges, I didn't encounter so much challenges, except to ensure sustainability of the whole financing structure. And this can be done through good collaboration with strategic partners. And another challenge is development of the right infrastructure. Since we are governed by central bank, so the process of getting approval is quite tedious. But finally, we managed to get the approval. So another challenge is lack of awareness for the farmers, but this can be overcome by training. We provide free training to the farmers. And then finally is short realization of paddy process leading to misrepayment. And this is done by restructuring. And we also provide fund for, we call it special relief fund. In case of disaster, we will utilize this fund. So the farmers don't have to worry, because the 6-month period, they don't have to pay. So we defer the payment to the next 6 months, Okay. I think this is Chile. Chile is same concept, where the farmers come to our bank to get financing, and all marketing are done by Farmers Association. I think that's about all. If we have any question, probably we can raise after this. And I would like to, once again, I would like to say thank you. And I will also like to share a short video, very short video, few seconds. And these are the awards that we managed to get. Best Case Study Award, Best Islamic Financial Products for Agriculture. There are 7 awards in 2015 and 2016. Thank you very much for your attention. And thanks again.
Thank you, Masat. Okay, thank you very much. Our next panelist is Ms. Ana Mindiola, who is President and Chief Executive Officer of SM Development Bank, Federated States of Micronesia.
Thank you, Roy, my colleagues, the speakers, ladies and gentlemen. The MC said earlier, expert. I'm far from being an expert in agriculture. Actually, I'm here to learn from everybody else who have expertise in the area. And as you can see, the way it's organized, it went from large, medium, and they skipped small. They went to micro. So I'm from the Federated States of Micronesia, and I believe I need to introduce the country a little bit because most of you probably wonder where it is. It consists of about 607 islands with a total land area of only 271 square miles. But it has an economic zone of 2.6 million square miles. So as you can see, it's more of fisheries than agriculture. That would be the resource. It's located in the middle of nowhere in the North Central Pacific. I would say between Honolulu on the west and the Philippines on the east. The population is only about 120,000 people, and it's grouped into 4 major island groups of Chuuk, Korsay, Pohnpei, and Yap. And we do speak different languages. If you think it's small, we do speak different languages, and English is the medium of government business. As for the bank, it was established in 1979, and it started lending in only 1982. In 1994, with the assistance of the Asian Development Bank, we were reorganized into an independent, however, fully government-owned corporation. And we currently have the head office in Pohnpei with 3 branches. And the farthest branch, it takes us to get out of the country to get back into the country via United Airlines if we want to visit one of our branches. We're currently managed by a 7-member board, and our total asset is $59.6 million US, and our portfolio is about $34.3 million. And most of it, our capital is from the government, and we have 39 employees. And the topic is supposed to be agriculture, and as you can see, our portfolio is very small when it comes to agriculture. You know, in the islands, everybody does subsistence farming. So we're trying to learn how to commercialize farming. Now that we became independent, only 1986. So now we're learning how to make agriculture a business. So it's actually a priority of the government, the agriculture sector, and the bank is trying to do lending directly to the farmers, also to Farmers Association in the form of a microfinance lending. And then in order to also help the farmers, we also have what we call forced savings to allow the farmers to grow their own capital. Now the product that the government introduced to allow the banks to be able to lend in the agriculture sector is what is called the Secure Transaction website. And this is done through, again, an assistance from the Asian Development Bank to give loan to farmers that don't have land or other properties that can secure the land. So this website allows us to register any movable asset, including farm products. Basically, this slide talks about how it works. We register it for every 5 years. We've got to renew it. And it costs $15 to register, but it's free for the general public to actually view to see whether anything was on the secure transaction website. And although the portfolio is still small, it has helped a little bit in terms of our lending into the agriculture sector. We, however, still face a lot of challenges because we're basically a cash flow lender. We really don't lend based on balance sheet. And the challenges we faced include the financial illiteracy of farmers, lack of financial services or auditors that could help them understand finances, the limited private capital, limited entrepreneurial capacity, limited market because of the smallness in population, and even export. There is a big constraint on transportation. And then limited access to technology and telecommunication and even land, as I've mentioned how small the country is. So anyway, that doesn't discourage us. We're still looking for potential solutions. And now we're trying to tap again the assistance of the Asian Development Bank to look to see whether we can introduce value chain financing in the country. I'm not very familiar with this product, but we thought there would be some product, at least pepper, coffee, coconut oil, that might be able to use this type of financing model. And we've also introduced a business advisory within the bank, and also we've introduced a training institute within the bank to provide both training and business advisory to our farmers who are looking for financing. Basically, that's all I have to share with you. I hope by telling you all of these things from a small country, you would have some ideas on how this association might help. And I just might take up Masar's offer to visit Malaysia to see how they deal with their agriculture sector. So I'm open to question, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Anna. We're doing well in terms of time so far. We can take one or two questions from the floor. This is not to mean that you cannot, and I think you should interact with any of our panelists during the breaks or during our stay here at the hotel. There being none, I may just wrap this up by citing or giving some what I think are takeaways from the three presentations on the subject of agriculture and rural development. The three presentations have one commonality, among others. One is sustainability as a feature in their financing programs and instruments. If we define, or as it is generally defined, sustainability is catering to the needs of the present generation without putting at risk the needs of the future generation. And the three presentations clearly articulate this important feature in their portfolios. Another takeaway from the three presentations is how they contextualize their financial programs within their respective structural framework and according or meeting the demands and optimizing the resources of the communities that they are serving. In the case of NABARD, for instance, it clearly shows the development flow and process of their programs. And AgriBank mentioned the alliances with other players all within the sector of agriculture, leading to rural development. The third takeaway, which was kind of implicit in the first two presentations, but which was highlighted in the presentation by Anna, is the use of the agricultural value chain financing as a business model in spurring agricultural development in the rural areas. The key players in the sectors are captured in this agricultural value chain financing. You have the government implementing its policies in agriculture and rural development through the very institutions that are presented here as their policy instruments. There is a clear indication, if not commitment, of their respective governments through their own development financial institutions, the NABARD, the Agribank, and the FSM Bank, to play a catalytic role in the development of agriculture in the rural areas. The private sector are identified as key players, and most of all, the farmers and the rural entrepreneurs are the object of all these policies and processes for agricultural development. I hope I have captured the essence of the session in today's session, and like I said, our panelists are available for interaction with you during and after and during our stay here at the ADFIAP event. On that note, I bring this to a conclusion, and I sincerely thank our panelists for making their presentations concise and yet informative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, session moderator, and thank you to our speakers. Agriculture and rural development are key in a nation's development and are interlinked. And thank you to each one of our speakers for sharing their perspective from the respective countries, citing both challenges, the solutions, as well as the innovative practices. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, we have a small tradition of presenting mementos to our panelists. And may we firstly present a memento to our session moderator, Mr. Sobrekere. We'd like to now present mementos to our other speakers in this panel, to Mr. R. Amalur Pavanathan, to Ms. Puan Masat Binti Awads, and to Ms. Anna Mendiola. May we request our plenary session speakers to kindly pose for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know that we have another session, we will immediately move on to our next session, but we'll just take a few minutes for making the necessary table arrangements, if you may kindly bear with us. Thank you.